You're listening to SM Media, the #1 place for exclusive content.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Scottish Football Show Extra right here on SM Media. I'm Scott McPike, delighted to be your host as always. This is our West of Scotland dedicated show, as many of the viewers will know, and we've got a Rossvale special this week. We're joined by the Assistant Manager, Kevin Coyle. Kevin, it's a pleasure to welcome you on. Thanks for joining me.
No problem, Scott. Good to be on. Cheers.
Brilliant. Absolute pleasure to have you on. We're also joined by the Rossvale captain, Ross Urquhart. Ross, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you back on.
Cheers to have me, mate.
Brilliant. Absolute pleasure. Obviously, what we'll do, we'll look at your season so far. Obviously, it's been a bit kind of up and down. There's a lot of changes taking place, and then we'll take a look at your respective careers. We'll put you in the spot with a couple of quick-fire question rounds, and then we'll obviously open the floor up to the questions and stuff we've had to ask you in social media, and then we'll obviously preview what's coming up for you. Kevin, I'll start with you. Obviously, 19 points for 19 games. Obviously, you've come in a wee bit later on into the season. What's your thoughts on that so far? Are you happy with the kind of start you've made after a kind of poor start? Obviously, 5 games, the first 5 games, no wins.
Well, I think after coming in after 5 games, after 2 games, I think we come in, we went to the Largs game, obviously, and it was Saturday, Wednesday. Yeah. So it was obviously hard because we couldn't get the boys into train. And I think now that we've went halfway through the season, we're kind of relatively happy that we're probably where we should be the now. Aye, we're happy enough.
Brilliant. Ross, obviously we had you on the show for a preview just before the start of the season, and at that time you had a different manager, obviously Gomes to the job at Broomhill. What was your thoughts on that? Were you surprised when you get told that Gomes was leaving?
Big time. Because it's spoke to me in the past about like being linked to the job in the past, like at the start of summer and that, and told me like no, there wasn't the time, but he just wasn't able to. So I just didn't think twice. I just got on with the season, thought it was going ahead as normal, like with Gomes. But when he told us, I think everyone was pretty shocked. The boys all got on really well with Gomes, and we looked as if we would have a good outfit under him. But it was a bit of a shock, and then a bit turbulent start after it.
Did that kind of play a part in your start to the season, losing the first 5 games? Was it that kind of imbalance that caused that, do you think?
Aye, absolutely. Because obviously he left, and then I think we did have a good few injuries at the start of the season as well, which wasn't any help at all. But we left, and we didn't have the best squad as a whole. Like the depth was pretty poor, that kind of thing. It was a bit out of balance, so probably didn't help for Kev and Gaffer coming in to a pretty mismatched squad. But probably played a part. But again, we still could have done better.
Yeah. Kevin, see, obviously when you all got offered the job at Rossvale, was it a kind of no-brainer to leave East Kilbride at that point?
Aye, to be honest, obviously the chairman had contacted Ian to let him know that obviously the chairman at Rossvale had been in contact. So Ian phoned me and he says, "What do you think?" And to be honest, I think no disrespect to East Kilbride, but the difference in levels, just with the leagues, obviously, it was a no-brainer, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Obviously, the kind of first 5 games didn't go well at all. Defeats to Cumbernauld, Cumnock, Largs, Avon Meadow, and then a kind of big defeat to Darvel. Ross, how big was that 6-1 win at Kilburnie to get the points on the board? Obviously, Kilburnie were in the kind of same position as yours, but to get that win, how big was that?
No, it was massive. I was gutted. I was injured. I was injured at the start of the season, got back, and then 2 games in, I got another injury. So I had a pretty terrible start to the season as it was, and then to see the boys bounce back like that was class. But I was also a bit gutted that I was in the sideline. I wanted to be fully involved with it, but I was buzzing and kind of showed to be a wee kickstart. Definitely lifted the mood around the team. So
brilliant. What was that like for you as well, Kevin, with that 6-1 win at Kilburnie? Was that a big confidence boost that you could actually kind of pick yourselves up off the kind of bottom of the league?
It was tremendous. The boys were absolutely outstanding that night. I thought, we know having Ross in the team, and there was a couple of other boys still out injured, and you're travelling down to Kilburnie. It's always a hard place to go at the best of times, never mind when you've got obviously your captains out injured and a couple of other boys out injured. But the boys were outstanding that night. So they won. It really gave us a confidence booster moving forward.
What was it like as well, Ross? Obviously, when Ian and Kevin came in, what was it like? What kind of changes did you notice that they kind of implemented straight away?
I mean, again, there was nothing major. Like, I think the boys just were glad they had a bit of stability and like actually had something in process. I think we felt a bit obviously hard done by Gorms, which we probably shouldn't have. We were a bit felt too sorry for ourselves almost with that start to the season. But we were just glad that we had actually a vision somewhere that we were heading towards, and the gaffer and Kev came in and just put their stamp on our training, on the way they want us to play, and it gave us something to look forward to and stick at.
Yeah. Kevin, how impressed have you been with the kind of setup at Rossvale since you went in?
Very professional for kind of top to bottom, you know what I mean? It's committee, even kind of the player pathway type thing. It's very well run. It's a lot different compared to kind of when we were at East Kilbride type thing.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
try to put the player pathway in place when we were at East Kilbride, and then we got like 3 or 4 kind of teams set up before we actually moved on. So hopefully they're kind of moving in the right direction as well at East Kilbride.
Yeah, brilliant. The 4 big wins, obviously Benbourg, Bonnet and Troon and Blantyre. How big were they wins, obviously, to Ross, against kind of teams that were in a similar position? Obviously, were they kind of big confidence boosts that you were kind of going there and getting good results?
Big time. I think teams like Benbourg and that, the ones at the start of the season you knew you were going to be battling with. Like, no disrespect to them, they've obviously got a handful, a lot of good players, but that everyone knows there's the teams at the top. They could probably name the 5 sort of teams at the top almost, and then the rest would all just be battling. And the boys knew that as well. Like, we got the Kilburney win, and then we had a couple of unfortunate results just against tougher teams. But Benbourg game came, and I think everyone kind of got a wee bit of buzz back. We went on to the match and just kind of stamped our authority pretty early on, and just from then we took inspiration from that, really, going forward for the next 3 games after that, and I think it showed.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on the wins, Kevin?
They were huge because as Ross just touched on there, they were teams who were always going to be kind of doing fighting where we are. You know what I mean? I feel in the league there's possibly 7-8 teams who could maybe drift away for the rest days, and there's obviously 10, 11, 12 other managers out there thinking to themselves, there's kind of 4 or 5 places up for grabs, so we're all going to be fighting from right to the end. You know what I mean? So any win you can get in this league, I think, is going to be crucial.
What was it like as well, the result against the Buffs? It was a good point to get against them. What was your kind of thoughts that day, Kevin?
To be fair, the Buffs are probably the best team we've come up against, in my opinion. Them and Darvel, first half against Darvel in the 7-2 game, Darvel were untouchable. They were brilliant. But that day we played the Buffs, we actually went down to 10 men, and we'd managed to scrape a 1 each draw. The boys fought from start to finish, and I thought we thoroughly deserved our 1 each draw that day. Mm-hmm. So we did, but that was huge.
Ross, see that obviously draw against the Buffs, did that give you a bit of confidence that you could kind of take the game to the kind of bigger teams in the league?
Definitely. I think Coyle got quite a young squad. Boys, maybe a few boys went in like quite complacent into the league almost, just because they're not used to this level. Whether it was boys on loan from leagues above, but maybe they just weren't used to the standard, they didn't expect it. And then when we came up against the Buffs and showed that we can stand our own ground, it boosts the full team and kind of shows everyone what we're capable of on our day.
Mm-hmm. Obviously Talbot, the league leaders as well, it was a 1-0 defeat against them. Were you unlucky that day, Jan, Kevin?
100%, Scott. I was disappointed myself in obviously losing the game, but I was more disappointed for the boys because I thought that's probably the best performance for a coaching staff. Myself and Ian spoke about it after it, and that's probably the best performance we've had all season. And to take nothing away for the game, we were kind of disappointed for the boys more, I think.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on that, Ross? Was that a kind of gutting one?
That was the first time I'd played Talbot, and I was right up for it. But I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say we deserved to win. We didn't really create a lot, but neither did they either. So I think on the whole, I would have said we were the better team today. But again, I think a draw would have probably been a fair result. But it was just gutting to lose a goal.
Yeah. The Cup runs have obviously been a big highlight of the season as well. Obviously, the Junior Cup, a big win against Cambuslang. Obviously, he's got a bye into the fourth round. He'll take on Shots. Kevin, that must be been a big win against Cambuslang. Obviously, flying at the top of Conference B, they've given him a lot of confidence, scoring a lot of goals. That must have been a big win that night.
Oh, to be fair, everybody was talking about Cambuslang, Scott. It was as if the wee boy Williamson, to be fair to him, he'd been scoring goals for fun. I think he'd scored 30 odd goals in so many games, and obviously no disrespect to the conferences they're playing in, but once he stepped up to play against us, we were kind of thinking to ourselves, the boys obviously got something, so we kind of marked him as the danger man for Cambuslang. So when we went into the game, we went into the game with confidence as well, obviously thinking we were going to win the game, but it was huge. I think the two teams thought they had a great chance of progressing into the next round, and we were good that night as well. I thought we thoroughly deserved to win that night as well.
Ross, that night against Cambuslang, that must be a kind of highlight for you as well. Obviously, leading, you must fancy yourselves to have a good run in that cup now.
Definitely. I feel that's the thing now. Like we do fancy ourselves against most teams. Like even if you're coming up against a Talbot or a Pollock, like, we've got the confidence. You've seen the two results we got against Pollock at the start of the season. We got absolutely pumped, and then played them a month or so ago and could beat by 1 goal. Again, it was really tight and we missed an open goal almost. Dan Kinlan tried to skin the goalie. But like I think we fancy ourselves against most folk nowadays. And the boys love a challenge. They like going in as underdogs and we're used to it, so happy to prove folk wrong.
Yes, the South as well. Obviously, he's played Beath in the next round of that. Kevin, that must be a kind of a chance he's fancy as well. Obviously, some kind of good results in that so far.
Aye, well, the last round we played Campbelltown in it, and we obviously treated Campbelltown with the respect deserved as well. We treated them the way we would treat going and playing Talbot, winning teams like that. We got somebody to go and watch them and done a wee bit of professionalism about the club and give them a bit of respect. But aye, listen, nobody expected Beath to get beat by Cairn on Saturday 6-0. So that's one you look at and you go, aye, we've got a chance. So we'll go into that with full of confidence, hopefully. Yeah.
Ross, see that result Beath got at the weekend, does that give you a bit more confidence that maybe you can do the same?
Yeah. As I said, I think we were going into it as well with confidence already. Like, we reckon we've got the players and whatnot. Now we've got a full squad that can match most teams all over the park. So boys go in confident to most games as it is. But yeah, that Saturday's result definitely kind of gave us a wee boost almost.
Yeah. Obviously, using a brilliant result on Saturday as well. That was your last league game, a 2-1 win over Glenafton, who were on a good run. The report I got for the game, I had a kind of friend that was at the game, and he said the first half Rossvale came up about 7 or 8-0, but in the second half the goalkeeper was responsible for keeping Rossvale in the game. Would you agree with that, Kevin?
Oh, maybe no 7 or 8-0, Scott, but maybe it could have been 4 or 5 in the first half. The boys were excellent. First half, got them in at half time, kind of freshened them up, got them back at the second half. And to be fair to Glenafton, they came at us and they scored kind of early doors in the second half. And then, to be honest with you, for the last half an hour, we were under the caution. To be fair to the boys, they held on well. And Craig Gordon was, wait to see some of the saves. I think somebody's put on Twitter, one of them was a World Day. It was a World Day. He was outstanding on Saturday.
Yeah, he's a Player of the Week nomination this week for you, so you will need to kind of get the votes in for him if you want him to win that. But how big a confidence boost was that to you, Ross? Obviously, that win on Saturday.
It was massive, especially when we last played them. It was like the games were almost like flips of each other, because the last time we played them, the first half they were the far better team, and got a couple of goals early. And then second half we absolutely dominated, but just couldn't get an equaliser or even a winner, no matter how many chances we created. Whereas Saturday there, it was completely flipped round. We dominated the first half, could have scored a barrel load, and then the second half just nothing came off for us at all. I don't think a single man could have gave himself pass marks really, apart from Craigie and Ghost. The guy's unbelievable.
Obviously, as well, it's been 19 points for 19 games, 6 wins, 1 draw, 12 defeats. But one thing I want to ask you both is, how good is it to get the fans back in and get back to that kind of normality that we haven't had in a long time? We'll start with you, Kevin. How big a boost has that been in the sidelines and hearing the crowd?
Oh, it's major, not just for us, for everybody. Obviously, we us having quite a young team, Scott. I feel that having the crowd in, the boys got a bit of energy off the crowd, you know what I mean? I feel the boys they've no fear, you know what I mean? And they'll just go and express themselves. And I feel now that the bigger the club we play, the more we get out the boys, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
With the larger crowds, and it's been great for the fans have been back in. So it's definitely.
Yeah, Ross, what's been your kind of thoughts on that? Are you glad to just get the fans back and get back to kind of some sort of normality in a football park?
It's been brilliant. Like, it just adds almost an extra kind of wee bit of dig. I love getting abuse. Not that I do that much to get it, but it's just a good laugh. It gives you a wee extra buzz. Want to prove folk wrong.
Yeah, definitely. But we'll talk about your careers as well. Obviously, you're both kind of a good playing careers. Kevin, we'll start a bit about your playing career. What was your kind of highlights of your playing career, and what were some of the clubs you played at?
I started kind of playing at Glencairn. My first junior club was Glencairn. John Conlon was the manager. Right. The Monk was the manager down there, and I was down there for a few games, and then I ended up going to Talbot. Tam McDonald was the manager. Right. I don't know if you know Tam.
I know all of them, man.
Big Rambo was the manager down there, so I went down there, and I was down there. I think I was down there for about a season, and I got injured, so I kind of stopped playing for a wee while, and then I went back amateur with one of my mates' teams. I was kind of playing amateur in there, and then I ended up. I went to Cambuslang. Don't know if you know Alan Wardlaw. Big Wardy was the manager at the time. He signed me with Cambuslang. I think it was 2 seasons at Cambuslang, and then I ended up at Blantyre. And I think it was 2 or 3 seasons at Blantyre, and I won a league at Blantyre. Yeah. So I did. So that's probably winning the league at Blantyre is probably the highlight. That apart from playing with Talbot, right enough, but aye.
Who were some of the kind of good characters you played with in your career?
I don't know if you know a big guy called Eddie McGuinness.
No.
Big Eddie's maybe 40 odds now, but he was just mental. So he was. I think he won the Junior Cup with Mary Hull. I think. Right. I think he had a great career, so he did, Big Eddie. But I played with a few good players as well. Sure. Gavin Duncan, he was at Talbot when I was at Talbot. Who else was there when I was there? Kevin Biggert was there.
I don't know that name.
Trying to think who else. Played with a guy at Cambuslang. It was absolutely probably. If you were to ask me the best player that I played with in a team, it was probably him. A guy called Jimmy Cavana.
Right.
He played kind of centre half, kind of sweeper role. The olden days when I played, you played with a sweeper type thing. You obviously don't do that now, but Jimmy was unbelievable. So he was. I don't know where he played in his career, but I think he's obviously played at a good level. He was outstanding.
Brilliant. Ross, what about you? What was your kind of development like getting into the game?
When I was younger than that, I think I started kind of later than most folk, like as a kid anyway, and then get involved and picked it up quick because my dad played with Neilston for a number of years. So I was always like around football and that, but when I got into it, I just picked it up straight away and loved it. When I was younger, I was in at St Mirren, and then just wasn't good enough, so fell away from the game a wee bit. Like played boys club and that, kind of lost the love, and then went back to playing with Arthurley, like at boys club level, right up to 21s, and got to the final with Arthurley 21s, the Scottish. That season was unbelievable, and just everything you want a football season to be, like loads of wins obviously, but just a right buzz about the team. Like everyone was really good pals. You'd go out with them most weekends, stuff like that. And then from there, signed with Arthurley Juniors. And I was there for 2 years, I think, before moving to Rossvale last year, and then played under Gorms last year before the season was called early.
Yeah, brilliant. Kevin, what was the kind of reason you get involved in coaching? Was it always kind of the plan when you finished playing?
No, not really, Scott, to be honest with you. I chopped playing in kind of 2010, I think it was. I'd injured my knee and I stopped playing, and I taken up golf.
Right.
And I played golf, and then I was talking to Ian, and Ian had went to Shockey as a player, and then the something happened with the soccer manager and they asked Ian to take the job. So he can ask me, he can come in and help him at soccer. But at that present time, I couldn't do it just because of my work. And Ian resigned at the end of that season, and then me and him kind of get chatting again, and he's like, would you fancy coming back to the football type thing? And I thought, I'll get a bash because my work had changed. And next thing, we get the East Kilbride job, and that was us. We kind of kicked on for there. But it was nothing I'd ever said. Kind of when I was a player, I'm going to be a manager type thing.
Yeah. See, obviously the spell at East Kilbride, do you look back on that fondly?
It was a lot. It was stopped with COVID. To be fair,
Aye.
We get the East Kilbride job kind of on the February. We played one game. We played Wishaw away. We won 4-0. That was the first game we played as East Kilbride kind of coaching staff, and then we get stopped with COVID. So it was after that, we never kind of really kicked a ball until kind of a year and a bit later. But me and Ian were in charge at East Kilbride, I think, for 18 months, and we never took charge at the show park.
Is that right?
We never managed at our home park. Never.
Were you disappointed with the way it ended? Do you think it could have been kind of handled better? Like, what's your kind of thoughts on that?
It could have been handled a lot better, I think. To be fair, my personal opinion, I think East Kilbride let themselves down a wee bit with the way they handled what I do, but that's just my opinion.
Ross, we'll go on to you as well. Obviously, you've been at Rossvale for a couple of years. Can I yet to get a full season under your belt? But what's it like been kind of when you get named the captain?
I was surprised. Like, I know I'm quite vocal in the park and that anyway, but I would do that if I was captain. If I wasn't, like, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. I know a couple of the older names left in summer there, like going into this season. So I hadn't even thought of it, obviously. And then there was a point last year when I think we played Largs or something. I'd just been dropped the game before, and we get beat. But I'd just been randomly dropped the game before by Gorms, and we get beat. So I made sure he knew I was raging. And then turned up the next game and he gave me captaincy. I beat the Largs, and I think we went down to 10 men, but held on, get like a draw out of it. I don't know if from then he just kind of stuck by that, because it was COVID not long after that. Like, COVID cut it short. Yeah. And then in summer, Gorms just said to me again that he wanted me to be captain. But since the gaffer and Kev came in, like Dom had let them know, and then they said they were happy with it. So things have worked out, so can't complain.
Brilliant. Kevin, how good's the kind of attitude been of guys like Ross since you went into Rossvale? Were you kind of been pleasantly surprised at how well they're able to kind of take kind of things like that?
To be fair, we've come in, guys like Ross and Big Shug Kerr and Mikey McWilliams and that, they boys have kind of took to us and we've kind of bounced off of them, and they've helped us on the road as well, because when we come in, I think we've changed about maybe 7 or 8 players when we come in. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously boys have asked to leave, and boys had only signed because Gomes was a manager and different like that. So it was nothing to do with the likes of myself and Ian. It was nothing to do with us. So, and you can't really hold on to boys if they don't want to be there. You know what I mean? It's not really, doesn't make a great dressing room. You know what I mean? So we kind of move boys on. But no, Ross and a few of the other kind of senior players have been absolutely fantastic for we've come in. So their attitude's been tremendous.
Yeah. Ross as well, obviously the kind of Saturday, Wednesday at the start of the season. Obviously after a long absence, how did you kind of find that, getting back into that kind of routine?
It obviously didn't go too well with my body. I was injured. I get injured towards the end of pre-season, just doing amount of games. Again, just like a muscle injury, so probably just from overplaying and overtraining. But it was just, for me personally, it was a pretty frustrating thing, just because then when I was injured, I was then missing 2 games a week rather than 1 game a week. But getting the proper buzz back at the start of the season, like the 2 games a week at the start is class regardless. Like getting right back into the swing, like right in at the deep end and playing in the summer, you can't really complain. So
yeah, definitely. Right, we'll move into the kind of quick fire round. This is where we put you both in the spot. So we'll start with Kevin. We've obviously got the quick fire manager question round. Are you ready to be put in the spot here?
Yep.
Right, you've got to give honest answers. And you've got to obviously quick fire. So as soon as if you can't think, you've got to be on the ball with the questions we go. So we'll go with the first one. Steven Gerrard or Ange Postecoglou?
Ange Postecoglou.
Does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer stay at Man United, yes or no?
No.
How impressed have you been with the setup at Rossvale since you went in?
Very impressed.
Best character you've met in football?
Eddie McGuinness.
Best friend in football?
Ian Dyack.
Very good. 3 players from your rivals in the West of Scotland Premier Division to sign. Who would it be and why?
Who would it be and why? Probably Carlo Monti for the Buffs.
Okay.
Would be number one. Just, I think he's absolutely fantastic. He's got everything. He's got a wee touch of everything. He'd be one. Who else would I sign? That's quite a hard question, actually. Wee boy, to be fair, I like the wee boy Matty Grant at Pollock.
Okay.
The wee fullback at Pollock. I think he's bags and bags of energy. I like him. He's one I would take. And the third one, I'd probably take Mark McLennan for Irvine Meadow.
Okay.
I think Mark's got quite a good attitude about the game, and he's player.
Brilliant. Best player played with?
Best player played with would probably be Jimmy Cavana.
Who's the worst?
Oh, there's a few of them. Worst player played with? Chris Griffin at Blantyre.
Why is that?
I don't know. He came up through the youths and he never lasted very long.
Right.
Maybe.
Win the league or win the Scottish?
Win the league or win the Scottish? Win the league.
Best player at Rossvale?
Ross Urquhart.
Very good.
This fella.
Right, Ross, we'll move on to you. Obviously, this is the teammates round. You put some of your teammates in the dirt here. Obviously, Kevin, you can reply to these. You can, if we ask a question to Ross and you think there's a different answer, then please pipe up and let us know. You ready? You ready here, Ross?
Yep.
Best trainer?
He'll not know. He's never there.
I know, I can't be there. I'm in another country. Before, probably, I'd maybe say probably Craig Gordon, the goalie.
Who's the worst?
Can't say Tatty Big Ross McKenzie until he left. I think who's the grumpiest? Probably a few that just only bothered at training. Kev will probably be better answering that now. I'm not there now.
Right, who's the worst trainer, Kevin?
Probably Big Karamoko. He's doing a few sickies lately.
Ross, team hard man.
Shug, he's the hardest man in junior football.
Most skillful.
Probably Mikey McWilliams.
Kevin, would you go along with that?
Aye, I would agree with that. Aye.
Quickest player.
Quickest. We Conor McDonald's rapid. A couple of wingers we've got are quick. But I'll say maybe it's Conor McDonald.
Aye, Connor probably.
Slowest player.
Maybe Mikey, to be fair. Seen Milk Tongue quicker.
Team joker.
Andy Johnson, Shug, Mikey, probably.
Worst dress sense.
Who can I stitch up? Probably a few. I don't know who I can stitch up the list. Just say Josh. Josh, the second goalie, young goalie.
Final question, teacher's pet. Who sucks up the manager?
Mind his boy plays.
I know. Boy, can I get a word in for his boy? We call him McDonald. Actually, easy.
Kevin, who do you feel is the teacher's pet?
Connor's probably one of them. So yeah.
Brilliant. Right, we're going to go. We've got a few wee things here. Obviously, what we do is we get a bit of dirt on you by kind of teammates and people that know you in the game. There's been a lot here of the same thing. We got maybe 4 or 5 responses about the one thing. So, Ross, this is for you. Ask Roscoe about taking the armband on the night out.
You've got to make an entrance. Good laugh.
What happened there?
So obviously because there's been a lot of turnover in that at the start of the season, we didn't have a settled group, and you didn't want to get a full-on night out without a full squad there. So the first night out for the boys took a while, and we had it last weekend, and we went to that golf lounge in Glasgow first.
Right.
So you get it's like a golf simulator. You get a booth in that. So we had this big golf simulator, and everyone's like filling in their name and that on the screen. So you step up one at a time, hit your shot, like longest drive or whatever. So I just thought I'll make a wee funny entrance and pull the captain's armband out my pocket before I took my shot.
Brilliant. We've got a question here for Kevin. The boys have noticed that Kev wears yellow pants every game day, and we're wondering what that's about.
Wear what?
Yellow pants.
News to me.
We've got another one. The under-20s thought that Kev was Harry from the Wet Bandits in Home Alone.
I've not heard any of these ones, Scott. They must be keeping them quiet for me.
You must have. You need to get a few questions in here. There's quite another one as well. Why is Ross so loud in the park but so quiet off it?
I don't know. I just let boys like Andy Johnson and Mikey make an ass of themselves.
Brilliant. We've got a few serious questions here. Obviously, we opened the floor up to some fan questions. We've obviously we're going to ask your opinions on other things in the game. This is for Kevin and Ross. You can obviously answer this as well. Give us your predictions. Who will win conferences A, B, and C?
Conference A's got Athlone in it, I think, innit?
Yeah, that's half a lane shots, yeah.
We played, when we were at Scotbride, we played Athlone in a pre-season game. That was our last pre-season game. And me and Ian spoke about it after the game, and we felt then that they were a pretty strong side. I think Athlone will win Conference A. Conference B, I think after Cambuslang kind of beating St Cadoc's on Saturday, I think that kind of takes Cambuslang to that league title. And Conference C, I think you've got to fancy Drumchapel. So that's my 3.
Yeah. Ross, what's your kind of thoughts in the 3 leagues?
I think Conference A, I would say Athlone. Obviously, was there before, and I know a good few of the boys that are still there. Try to get a few of them to Rossvale, but it didn't work out. So Athlone, I think they're flying now. So they'll win Conference A, I reckon. Conference B, I agree. I'll probably say Canberra Rangers. Just think they're quite a well-drilled team. They were one of the better teams I've played. So I'm pretty confident they'll keep up.
Conference C, obviously, Drumchapel have got a healthy lead at the top. Do you think they'll be hard to catch?
Is that the one Nielsen are in?
Aye, Nielsen are second in that, aye.
I think so. Probably will be Drumchapel, but I think Nielsen have kind of just been a bit unfortunate for the squad they've got. They've got a really good squad and our team that's really quite well drilled.
Yeah.
I know a few boys that play with them as well, so.
Yeah. Kevin, do you think there is a big, the gap's kind of not as big as you maybe you first thought with the likes of kind of the top teams in the conferences and the maybe kind of bottom teams in the Premier Division?
No, to be fair, Scott, I wouldn't say there was any gap for the likes of your Cambuslang, Shotts, Atherley, Drumchapel, probably Ross's there, Neilston. I would say there's probably kind of 4 or 5 teams in each conference where you could put a case for them and say they could play maybe lower end in the Premier. Aye, definitely. I don't, but I feel as if you're disrespecting some clubs as well. But there's other clubs in the conferences who I feel personally would struggle if they're struggling in some of the conferences. So if they went into kind of the Premier, I feel they would struggle a bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Who's the best player and team you have come up against so far since the season started? We'll go with Ross. Who's been the best team and the best player you've come up against?
I mean, like, I don't think they played their best against us, but obviously, easy answer would be Talbot. I think against us, but like toughest game we've had, I would probably say Pollock. I didn't play in the first game, but the second one, the one they beat us, was it 1-0? I think that was probably the hardest team I'd played. And then probably say, is it Duff that plays with him? I don't know. I mean, I think he's probably one of the hardest ones I came up against. He's just so busy because I play more holding and he plays almost number 10. Just always had to have eyes in the back of my head almost.
Right, okay. Kevin, who's kind of caught your eye team-wise and player-wise?
Team-wise, I would say there's two teams. I would say, I spoke about earlier, I would say Darvo and Coyle and Rangers are probably the two best footballing teams I've seen. I know where Ross was coming from with Paul. I think Paul.
To be fair, I somehow completely forgot about Darvo.
What they do it very well. But to get the ball down and actually play, I would say Darvo first half, the day they were 5-1 up at half time. I thought they were outstanding that day.
Yeah, that was the first day they got a new pitch, wasn't it?
We opened up. That's right, aye.
What was that like to play on? There's a lot of people say how good it is.
We're no good enough to play on that. I'll happily change my answer to Darvo for that.
See, obviously, like, again, another one. This is kind of a question for me. Like, Kev, you've been in the game a long time. Do you think it's good that a lot of teams are kind of getting the kind of infrastructure and wanting to kind of go up the leagues? Is it something you think Rossvale could do perhaps in the next few years?
I feel that when you see more and more clubs doing it, they're not doing it for no reason. They're doing it because they want to progress. And they see we're moving up the leagues. Obviously it's the future of Scottish football. You know what I mean? And I feel I don't see why Rossvale can't do it. You know what I mean? We've got plenty of things in place where we're looking forward to kind of taking things a wee step further as well. Aye, it would be good.
Yeah, definitely. Final question: do you give Talbot and Darvo and obviously Clydebank, who are playing? Well, this is just before we're recording this. Just before Clydebank are about to play Elgin. Do you give the three West of Scotland sides a chance in their Scottish Cup draws? Talbot obviously play Hamilton at home. Darvo have got a away tie to Brecon, and if Clydebank win against Elgin, they will play Clyde. Ross, how many do you see any of the teams progressing to the fourth round?
Sorry, you kind of cut it for me a bit there. Who did you say the other teams had drawn?
Talbot draw Hamilton, Darvo away to Brecon, and Clydebank will play Clyde if they win tonight.
I reckon Clydebank could win tonight. I think you're kind of seeing a lot of the bigger teams almost underestimating our league, which is fair enough, obviously, on the surface, but there's far too many good players to underestimate in this league. So I reckon Clydebank will win against Elgin. Against Clyde, if they go through, if they play Clyde, then same again. Like, they've got every chance. It's a cup game, it's a one-off. Clyde could easily come in with 11 players that don't know anything about our league and just think they're going to cruise it. Yeah. So again, they've got a chance. Darvo, who did Darvo draw? Sorry,
they're away to Brecon.
I think Darvo will take them to kind of manage to see off Stranraer as much as it looked quite a close game, and then Talbot have get their work cut out for them. But to be fair, if they've shown in the past, if anyone's got to do it, it's them.
Yeah. Kevin, what's your thoughts on the three teams in the cup? Do you think they've got a chance of progressing?
100%. Aye, definitely. I think Darvo have got the best draw, to be fair. We drawn Brecon away. I know it's away, but I think if you'd asked any of the teams, any of the League 1 and League 2 teams, Championship, I don't think the Championship teams are in it yet. They come in this round?
They come in this round, yeah.
I think if you'd asked any of the Championship, League 1 or League 2 teams who they didn't want, they would have said Talbot at Beechwood. I think Hamilton I don't think they'll be going there full of confidence. So I think Talbot have got a wee chance. and I think Clydebank, obviously, they've got another home draw as well. So I think Clydebank will fancy their chances if they get through tonight. I don't see why they can't.
Brilliant. We'll touch a wee bit on what's coming up for Rossvale. Obviously, the next two games, obviously home to Clydebank, who play tonight, and obviously away to the Buffs after that. Kevin, is it just a case of, as a main priority, obviously this season we know there's a lot of teams go down and you can be very unlucky and obviously maybe still kind of be under pressure. Is the main target just to stay in the league?
Aye. To be honest, Scott, I think if we stay in the league, that's a great achievement for us. That'd be.
Yeah. Ross, what's the kind of feeling in the dressing room? Do you think you can kind of beat the drop and obviously build on that for next season?
Absolutely. I think we got off to a terrible start, which with a lot of us, it wasn't necessarily our fault. We were left with a squad that was pretty poor as a whole, and we were obviously all a bit kind of taken aback. We didn't have a manager for the first 2 weeks, so I reckon we take all that into consideration. With our results after the first 5 games, we've looked like a solid mid-table team at least. So I reckon if we keep that up, then we should hopefully be safe.
Brilliant. 2 cup games obviously in the next few weeks, obviously away to Beath in the south and then away to Shotts in the Junior Cup. Kevin, how big a result would they be to get through in the 2 competitions?
Oh, massive. If you progress in both cups, it would be massive for the club, and massive for the boys as well, you know what I mean? It'd be a great achievement.
Yeah. Ross, how big would it be for the players to get a big run in the cups?
I think cup runs are always unreal. Like, everyone wants a cup run just for a wee bit, something on the side. The league's all fun and whatnot, but it's annoying looking at the league every week after that start because you're constantly battling against it. We put ourselves under pressure in early days, but I think with a cup run, every game comes and it's just a level playing field. So you've got to go out and be confident. Yeah,
definitely. But it's been an absolute pleasure to be on the night. We're going to wrap up the show there. Thank you very much to Kevin and Ross for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on the show.
Hey, Scott.
Brilliant. Thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in. Please subscribe to us on social media and follow our podcast and YouTube channels. We'll be back with another episode of the Scottish Football Show soon. Thanks very much to everyone that's watched. See you soon. Cheers.